All right, welcome back everybody. This is officially the end of week 1 of season 1 of Let's Get Good Golf Edition. A few big updates as I've gone through this first week here. Lots of weather changes, went from hot and humid to nice and cool. Good amount of rain that did rain out some of my rounds and some of my practice sessions. I have really learned what it means to edit for a very long time. Still not that good at it, hopefully we'll get better. We have added a shot tracer by popular demand, which super cool addition, super not fun software to use. It is slower than molasses, but we'll talk about that later as well. Moving over to the more important updates. Let's talk about the game. As I laid out in my last video, I did add a lot of mobility, sauna, some workouts, and of course, a lot of extra golf into my schedule this past week. So the overall kind of toll in terms of soreness was a little bit at first, but at the end of this week already, I am feeling really great. The good thing is, this is only gonna get better. I'm gonna continue with these workouts. I'm gonna continue feeling great. Any soreness will really be done away with pretty quickly after that. It just means I can recover a lot more faster. That way I can perform better on the golf course. I have had the chance to play 7 rounds this week. That is a mixture of 9 and 18-hole rounds, but 7 rounds played since the last video was released. Now these rounds were not the best. I'm not gonna lie about that, but they did one thing that was extremely important, and that was establishing a baseline for the data that we're gonna track all the way through this year here, or through this summer, I should say. All that data has been put into a spreadsheet, which I'm really excited to show you at the end of the video, so make sure that you stick around for that. As you could have imagined, there were some frustrations, some adjusting of expectations, and at the end of it all, a decent amount of acceptance. Towards the middle of this week, definitely was not shooting as well as I thought I should have been shooting. I'm like, man, I should be great already, right? If only it worked that way. That's just not the case. And you can't expect to be amazing after week 1, which I know sounds super obvious, but in my brain, it just kind of came out in the course at times. But thankfully, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna get better every single day. Now, as bad as these frustrations were, it did all kind of come together at the end of the week, actually yesterday, Monday, in a really cool situation. So on Sunday night, I scheduled a 6:30 tee time for my usual Monday course, was ready to go, and I got an email from a colleague asking me to shoot in a 4-man scramble at a pretty nice country club as a part of a fundraiser. And of course, I obviously said yes. Now, the gentlemen that I played with were pretty good golfers. One of them, or actually 2 of them, are coaches within the area, and another is another colleague of mine who I've known golfs a decent amount. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of dreading going into it, which I knew they probably didn't care all that much. It's a 4-man scramble, so on and so forth, but I thought, I'm not gonna contribute a single shot here. I'm not gonna do a whole lot. And I ended up doing far better than I thought I was going to, which was great. And it really boosted a lot of my confidence. Even some of the minor adjustments I've been making really kind of shine during this scramble. Of course, 4-man scramble, not a whole lot of pressure. And out of, I believe, 20 teams, we finished 4th, 12 under. First, second, and third tied for first at 13 under. So all around, a pretty good day that I was thankfully doing well enough to actually contribute to. I'm not gonna complain about that by any means. All of this is to say, the beginning of the week leading into that scramble on Monday was not the best, and you'll see that reflected in the scorecards. But trusting the process is truly what I think matters here. Now, it's not gonna happen after week 1 or even week 2 or 3, but as you start to add things up, maybe month 1, month 2, really hoping to see some great progress. And if I don't, you will be able to find a cheap set of clubs on Facebook Marketplace for you. Now, that being said, let's check out the scorecards for the week. Not the best, I know. See, on that first round I shot earlier in the week, a really great front 9, fell apart at the end there. Surprisingly, as I started to film some of those shots, things went awry quite quickly, and I am still getting used to the aspect of actually filming shots. Now, with that being said, I'm getting better with filming shots as I'm going through the course. I need to establish a better workflow. You are gonna see more 3-shot sequences. The ones I had this week were a little bit more jumbled up than what I would like to, and just really understanding where to put my camera for the shot tracer is a really important factor that I knew about, but I didn't know how important it was. So things are only gonna get better. That is the whole plan. So with that being said, let's take a look at some of the footage from this week, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you after for that spreadsheet. Few things before we hop into the end of this video and take a look at the spreadsheet. Between the playing footage and my practice footage, I hope you can kind of get an idea of what my week has been looking like. There's a lot of room for improvement. Obviously, you can see that. I can see that. There's no denying that. I've been noticing maybe I'm a little too close at address. Others may disagree. Maybe that's affecting some of my shots. You might think differently. Let me know. Maybe, who knows? Maybe someone in the comments can fix my golf swing magically, because it really does happen that fast, I've been told. But there's so much more. Just can't focus on one aspect of the game. I'm gonna continue getting those practice hours in. There's so many great practice facilities in my area, but also just continuing to golf more and fixing some, maybe issues in my swing or just fundamentals I'm not doing, being more consistent with driver, free putting every time I see a putting green, so on and so forth. And we're gonna dive into this data, and I'm really excited to show you this spreadsheet. Shout out to Andrew for creating it. There's a lot to track here. Let's go check that out. All right, everyone, welcome to the spreadsheet. Now, I'm gonna hop right into everything here, explain a few tabs. I'm gonna leave some tabs kind of left alone for a while. And first thing we wanna take a good look at is our dashboard. Now we have by round and by week trackers for scoring to par, putts per hole, fairways and greens and reg, and scoring by par type. Now with only 1 week of data, nothing super crazy to see here yet besides a need for improvement, but it'll be really cool to see this week by week and round by round trends as we start to progress here. For right now, nothing too crazy, maybe about another 2 to 3 weeks worth of data. You can see some really cool trends. Moving over to the weekly summary and the season summary, I do want to say my practice log, the rounds that I play, how I score on those holes during those rounds, and the courses themselves, all of this gets added into these 3 summary tabs. Although these are super important, this doesn't really make sense to dwell on them for a super long time since everything's displayed here. First have our weekly summary, 7 rounds played, 81 holes total, average score of 101.78, average to par 29.78, total putts 184, putts per hole 227, so on and so forth. However, really cool little tidbit I want to get down to is miles driven. I've calculated my car's average miles per gallon, which is 40. The current average price of gasoline, I've spent $37 total traveling to and from golf courses. I do want to add more budgetary type items to the spreadsheet to kind of see what the overall cost is. Because at the end of the day, this is an experiment, kind of see a few ideas revolving around how much it costs to try to get really great at something, as well as the time commitment on top of it. So we'll kind of track that as things go on. The tab I'm really excited to see change, my season summary. You can see here, it's all the data pretty much compiled, nice and easy to read. Total rounds of 7, 81 holes, hours practiced, average scored, par, putts, a lot of different items to be seen here. That's just a general little summary of the season. These 3 tabs are really going to be important as we move forward in this experiment. If you have an idea of something that can be added to this spreadsheet, something that maybe just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, some inaccuracies that you might see, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. All of that is, it's just another way of improving this entire process and this journey. Every single week, we are going to do a spreadsheet update. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing evolves and how it grows and the data that we get out of it and what insights we can get out of it as well. Per usual, thank you so much for sticking along, watching the video, and really taking your time to go through this journey with me. As I said before, it's not going to be a beautiful shot after beautiful shot. And there are plenty of people on this platform who can provide that. And I suggest you go and check them out. But if you want to be here for the journey, if you want to watch as hopefully I progress with what I've put in place here, continue watching, continue liking, subscribing, whatever it is that everybody else does. Once again, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next week. Let's get good.